But I do remember covering Deion, and I remember, at one level, covering Deion was not any different than covering Troy, Emmett, and Mike. They all rock stars. They all got their own thing. But I've been talking about Deion a lot lately because I probably have, as reporters, I probably have more access to Deion than anybody in the country. And so I tell people all the time how that happened. And what happened was, one of my strengths is reading people, figuring out who they are and what they're all about. It's just a gift. It's just what I do. And so Deion used to talk after games, and he might talk in the locker room every 3 or 4 weeks. And I want to say this was 96. I think it was 96. And I think at that time he was leading the league in punt returns. And so I went up to him and I was like, yo, I know you don't really like to talk, but you're leading the league in punt returns. I thought you might want to throw some shine on your blockers, the guys doing that work for you. And he was like, yeah, I'll do that. What you got? So we sat down, we talked, and I went through almost everybody on the punt return team. Got up, wrote the story a couple of days later, brought the paper to him. Next time I saw him in the locker room, gave him the paper, said, hey, here's what I wrote. Then I turned and left. And then he found me whenever the next time he saw me. He was like, yo, that was a good story you wrote. Anytime you need something, come holler at me. And so that's kind of how it started. And I want to say and so we were just kind of cool after that. And at some point later, the years get confused. This is a long time ago. But he asked me to ghostwrite a column for him when he was writing a column for the paper in North Fort Myers, where he grew up. Mm-hmm. And he called me up one day and asked me to ghostwrite the column for him. So I would talk to him every week about these different topics, very rarely about football, these different topics on life. And then I would write it in his voice. And then I'd send it to him, yo, what you think? And he'd be like, oh, change this and it's good, or nah, this is perfect, or whatever. And we did that for like a year and a half, something like that. And, I can't tell you when the relationship just kind of changed, but it just kind of shifted, and so then I became a guy that he trusted, because he used to call me Black Man with a Pen all the time. Okay. And I cover him now for the Undefeated because, again, I'm one of the few people who has access to him. And so we were in the locker room at Jackson State, and we were going somewhere, and he stopped to say something to a couple players. And he said, hey, this is my boy Jacques, he a reporter. He might be around a little bit during the season. And they looked at him kind of crazy. And he said, oh, no, he a good dude. He said, I've been knowing him since I played for the Cowboys, and he's been very consistent the whole time I've known him.
Dope.
And I was like, oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
And so we were talking later. It's like, yeah, man, it's the consistency. You the same today, yesterday, tomorrow. I don't have to worry about you. I can say stuff around you that I know ain't going no further if it doesn't need to be. Right. If so it's just that. That's how we got to be tight over the years, and it's just kind of blossomed from there. Because I was telling my son, who's 17, I don't know, sometime in the last month, I was talking about the importance of developing and maintaining and nurturing relationships.
Yes.
Because I was like, I got money in my pocket right now from working from a dude I've known 25 years. And I'm really the only dude who can do this, because I did a story on him for the Dallas Morning News about what he's doing at Jackson State. Long story, because he won't talk to anybody at the Dallas Morning News.
Wow.
And so they hired me to do it because they know my relationship. So I tell them, hey, I'm working on this story for the Morning News. And he goes, they paying you, right? I go, yeah. He go, okay, I got you.
Dope.
And so it's like that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I've had some time in professional locker rooms myself, and I know, working in the front office, and I know athletes, especially of that caliber, they appreciate individuals they can trust. And like Deion said about you, consistent. I know you got to get out of here. One more question.
No, we good.
When I seen Deion was being hired at Jackson State, I was kind of disappointed. I didn't really know what to make of it. Here's Deion, one of the greatest football players ever. Why does he have to go to that level? Why is it not the NFL? Why is it not big-time college football? This is a man that played in the World Series, the Super Bowl, prime time. I want to see him under the brightest lights. So I didn't really know what to think of it. Like, how did you receive the information that he was going to coach at Jackson State, HBCU?
Now, let's just keep it real. If you have a multi-million-dollar corporation, you,
yes, sir,
would you hire a dude that ain't never done it to run it?
Yes, Deion Primetime Sanders, who played offense, defense, special teams, who you see him on the NFL Network. He breaks down the game. He has the respect of this new generation of players. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's take it a step further. Where would you rank Michael Jordan as NBA GMs and owners?
I would put him near the bottom.
There you go. Just because you can play don't mean you can coach. It don't mean you can judge talent.
But
because
Mr. Taylor,
Michael Jordan be sitting up there, I'm sure at times somebody, why you just don't jump off at the free throw line, just dunk it, man. It ain't that hard.
Right.
And so, so you have to I would tell you this: football is different than basketball, obviously. So, if Deion Sanders were a basketball player, then yeah, it really wouldn't be that uncommon for him to go get a job as a coach with no other experience. We've seen it: Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Magic. I mean, we've seen 1,000 NBA players get jobs at the highest level, the NBA level, with no experience coaching. You haven't seen that in the NFL. You haven't seen that in college football, where they have no experience. They just come off the street and start coaching. Because there's a lot of moving parts to that NFL gig. So I wasn't really, I thought it was a good fit for him. Plus, if he's as good as he thinks he is, he won't be there long. Okay. It's an environment where he can learn, and the stakes aren't like they are if you're at Ohio State or if you're at Clemson or if you're at Florida State. And I don't really have any doubt that he'll win. There's most people don't understand that there is a night and day difference between Deion Sanders and prime time.
Okay.
I mean, they're just like, a lot of people got alter egos, but there's a distinct difference between Deion Sanders and prime time. Like, I rarely see prime time.
Okay.
I see Deion all the time.
Right.
But I rarely see prime time. Rarely see prime time. Because when I talk to him, he's Deion. I told this story from a long time ago, like 20 years ago. I was working on a story. It might have been that column I was working on. Anyway, I was talking to him on the phone. And he said, hold up. And then I heard, ah! Come on, man. Ah! And he came back. He said, okay, I'm good. I started laughing. He said, what you laughing at? I said, dude, you yelling at your kids the same way I'm yelling at my kids, man. Ain't no difference between us. He said, you live in a little bigger house than me. He started laughing. He's like, I've been trying to tell you that. So that's what I mean. I see Deion all the time. And people don't understand, and I tried to point this out in a couple pieces I write, because one of the things I do when I write about Deion is I try to bring out the stuff that people really don't see. And, people think about the athletic ability because, he got a great, when you think about it, it's really not hard to understand why he was a great player, because he's 6'1", 195, 200, run 4'3", 4'2". Mm-hmm. I mean, corners just ain't that big and run like that. Mm-hmm. But the thing that made him great, and he told this great story to his kids, because he was retelling it to me. What made him great was people didn't understand how hard he worked, not just practice, how much he studied. So there's a famous clip of where he picks off, he playing for the Falcons. No, he playing for the Niners. Picks off the Falcons, 93 yards to the house, and he talking to the Falcons sideline as he going down, score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So his kids asked him about that play. And he said, let me tell you about that play. Y'all saw the play. Y'all saw me talking. Y'all saw me dancing. He said, nobody saw me call Michael Haynes, who used to play for the Falcons, during the week, because he had retired, and spent an hour, 2 hours on the phone having him break down the Falcons offense for me. He said, y'all didn't see that I then took that information he gave me and studied film all week about the different things that they did inside the red zone based on those conversations. He said, y'all didn't see early in the game when I baited them 3 different times to see how they would react if I played coverage a certain way. And once I figured it out, like when I do this, they do that. He goes, I just waited, because I knew next time they was in the red zone, they was going to do it, because they'd done it all year. They'd seen how I reacted. I knew they were going to do it, because they were like, oh, he's reacting like this when you run that play. So I waited. They came in the formation. I said, I got this. They ran it. I jumped it. I took it. And then I told them all of that down the sideline. Dope. He said, but you see the dance, you saw the interception, you saw the play, but that was a week's worth of work in one play. And so that's the part of Deion where most people don't get. And that work ethic is why he can be a successful head coach. Because he got 2 things he can do. He'll work people, but his best asset is really, he has the ability to convince people to do things that they didn't think they could do. Mm-hmm. And so he gonna get players to come with him, because why do you play college football? You play college football at the highest level for 2 reasons. Education ain't one of them. Win a national championship, get to the league.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right now in today's college football, if you don't go to Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, you ain't winning no national championship right now. Yes, sir. So, but you can still get to the league. Lots of folks get to the league. Deion can show you how to get to the league. Now that he's there, your game's on national TV. The scouts are going to come through. They might not have came through before. They're coming through now. Mm-hmm. And so you can go to Jackson State and get to the league. And this is not going to be for every 5-star. He ain't going to have that kind of team. But can he get one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, 1 5-star at the FCS level, that's worth 2 or 3 at the regular level. Can he get some 4 stars? Yeah, he already flipped one from Georgia. Mm-hmm. Wait till they start winning. Like, Jackson State been 23 and 44 the last 7 years. They ain't been over 500 since 2013. They winning now. They just beat Grambling. It was 14-point underdogs. They beat Grambling. They don't even have a team yet. They don't even have a team, because their recruiting class, which was number 1 in FCS, they're not eligible to the fall. His son, who's a really good quarterback, ain't playing yet. And the cat who's playing is doing a solid job, but he can't throw. So they're having to run the ball a heck of a lot more than they want to run it, because he can't throw, or he can't throw consistently. He's gotten better, but he's not a consistent passer. So my suspicion is he's going to win. He's going to win big down there. And then it's just a matter of who's going to pull the trigger, because, the thing about him is, because he got money, he got more money you can spend in 2 or 3 lifetimes. Because he has that, you can't control him if you're a booster and an athletic director and a president. And so you have to come to grips with the fact that your normal way of doing business don't operate like that, because your threats have no effect on him because he's not worried about that. And if you can't get it done, he asks you for this, you can't get it done. Well, he'll pick up his phone, go through his Rolodex and call somebody who can get it done. Right. So you have to come to grips with that as an administrator. But if you winning, you don't care.
Right.